So back here in the U.S., we have been talking about these devastating flooding. The flooding continues to devastate communities in the Midwest. According to the officials, the Missouri River is expected to crest today, swelling the river's waters to its third highest level on record. The damage is particularly devastating for farmers whose farm and ranch losses are expected to be in the billions.
Blake Hurst is the president of the Missouri Farm Bureau. He joins us on the phone now from St. Joseph, Missouri. Blake, thanks so much for joining us. Can you just put into perspective for us just how devastating this flooding has been specifically to the farming community?
Well, we've got well over 100 miles of farmland along the river, 100 miles in length, probably 10 to 20 miles in width, underwater. I'm about 60 miles from home right now. I can't get there from here on the interstate. The major artery through our area is closed. Grain bins have been destroyed, roads, railroads, bridges damaged. It is a terrible, terrible tragedy.
So, we have our Don Dahler who's been covering the story. And one of the things that he has pointed out to us is this is just one in a series of challenges that farmers in the Midwest have been grappling with. Can you just give us a sense of what else is going on that in the midst of this, of Mother Nature taking its toll, that farmers have to handle as well?
Well, we've been a 5-year decline in net farm income. We've seen prices for the things we grow go down over that period. On top of that, we were in a downward trend when the trade disputes started, but they have accelerated and worsened that trend. So we're in a position where we're barely breaking even, and now the farmers along the river probably won't get a crop planted this year.
And so when we're talking about the farmers, that's one thing. But the farming industry is of immense importance to the entire region. So even if you're not working as a farmer, there are many, many more people connected to the farming industry.
Oh, sure. We're one of the challenges we'll face this spring is a lot of our supplies come from the west, come from Nebraska. The major arteries that connect us to our neighbors to the west are gone, and we don't know when they'll be reopened. When this flooding happened in 2011, roads were closed for 3 or 4 months. If we face that situation, it'll be hard to get supplies. All those people that depend on farmers for their business, people who sell fertilizer, seed, fuel, they're all going to be affected by this as well.
So I guess stepping back a bit, Blake, how will this impact other parts of the country and the world, essentially, that may be dependent on livestock and produce from your region?
Well, we've lost a lot of inventory. Many of the farmers had grain stored in metal bins. The grain gets wet, swells up, just like it would in your cooking pot, and collapses, expands and collapses the bins. So we've lost some inventory. We'll see some disruptions in supply, just moving the grain, moving the things we produce around. Obviously, in the breadth and width of the center part of the nation, this is a small part of the country, but it will certainly affect the economies of anybody connected to northwest Missouri, southeast Nebraska, and southwest Iowa.
So I know it's early days because the water hasn't even started to recede yet. It'll hopefully happen later on today in some areas. But, what sort of assistance do you need? What are you hoping to hear from the federal government or any other agencies?
Well, we'll need, first off, we have emergency conservation programs under the Farm Bill that actually are out of funding. We'll have to hopefully supplement that funding. We'll also need infrastructure money to replace bridges, place roads, and obviously at some point rebuild the levees that have been destroyed by this flood.
All right, Mr. Blake Hurst, our hearts go out to you and to all of those devastated by this historic flooding. We appreciate your time in speaking with us today. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you.
The Midwest is home to some of the country's richest farmland, and the flooding has already caused crop damage and livestock deaths. The losses have hurt many farmers and ranchers who were already struggling to maintain their livelihoods. Let's bring in Blake Hurst. He is the president of the Missouri Farm Bureau. He joins us now from Tarkio, Missouri. Thank you so much for being with us, Blake.
Thank you.
If you could help us understand by painting a picture for us, what was the economic reality for farmers in the Midwest before the floods hit?
Well, we've been suffering from low prices. Prices have been down for 5 years in a row. And although until this flood, we've had some pretty good yields. We've seen profits drop because prices have dropped since the 2012 and 2013 highs. It was compounded, of course, by the trade troubles, by the trade dispute with China, Mexico, Canada. And so all these things have made farming not very profitable in the last couple of years.
And now we're seeing such devastation. These images out of the Midwest are really so remarkable. I mean, how is the flooding going to affect these farmers in the short term?
Well, we've got literally hundreds of square miles underwater on the western side of the county. I live about 6-7 miles away from where the floodwaters have reached. They probably will not be planted this year. In 2011, they were underwater for several months. I would anticipate that's going to happen again. And we haven't even started to have the snow melt from the upper reaches of the Missouri, so all that water still has to come by here, and much of it will end up back in Hamburg and covering the cropland to our west.
And I imagine there have been floods there before. Does it seem different to you, what we're seeing this year?
This one is worse. We had a major one in 1993 and another one in 2011. This one is worse. It's impacted more small towns up and down the river, and we had much less warning. And one of the terrible things that's happened, a lot of millions of bushels of grain were stored up and down the river. People didn't have time to move that in 2011. They had some warning. They were literally hauling grain 24 hours a day. This time we had maybe 48 hours of warning, not enough time. Steel grain bins are collapsing as the grain inside them swells up. It sounds like gunshots as the bolts break and the bin collapses. So millions of bushels of grain that won't be able to be salvaged. It's ruined.
So I know folks are just in the middle of this still. Is there a sense of any kind of time frame for a recovery, if it's possible for farmers to recover at all?
Well, we'll certainly see some farmers that will be in such dire financial straits that they probably won't be able to continue farming. It'll be months to recover the ground. There'll be sand deposits. There's roads washed out, bridges washed out. The major interstate that runs through here is closed for over 100 miles. So literally all the traffic that was on the interstate is going up 2-lane roads through the small towns. Traffic is unbelievable. We won't be able to get fertilizer for our farm. Most of it comes from Nebraska. Won't be able to cross the bottom for months. We have no idea how we'll get supplies to do our planting here in about a month when we would typically start planting.
And for those folks who really are just on the brink and were just getting by before this flooding, what happens to them, the folks who feel like there's no way that they'll be able to recover?
I tell you, it is a mental health problem. It's a depression is obviously going to result from this. I mean, people are you work so hard, you try so hard, you get a good crop last year, you get it in the bins. That's basically your bank account to finance your farm over the next year. And now it's all gone. And so it's a tremendous blow to the farmers up and down the Missouri River.
And you know, folks are wondering as we continue to look at these just unbelievable pictures, is anything being done to help? Are there, discussions about places where farmers can go to try and get some assistance?
Well, we're obviously there's a program called the Emergency Conservation Program, which will help repair and replace some of the structures that were damaged. Farmers obviously have access to some mental health, and that will help. We'll see some emergency loans to help people get back on their feet, but it's going to be a long and very painful process.
Blake Hurst, I know this is a very busy time for you. Blake, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for being interested in what's happening to us.
Come on, guys, get up, get up. Dogs, come on. This is not good. Oh God, this is not good. That's all coming down. Oh my God. Grab it. Yep. No. How do you get them down?
Just pull her. Yeah. Watch the horns and pull her. There you go. Manhandle her out.
All right, come on.
Watch your hands.
Doesn't like people.
That's all right. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Shalom, Akim, and Akwathiam, and Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, brothers and sisters in the Lord. This is going to be kind of a part 2 video to the famine, man, that's coming, and it's so obvious, man. I know y'all seen the beginning clip, you know, with the Midwest, which is the breadbasket of the United States, being pummeled, man, and just being destroyed. And a lot of these Americans don't get it, man. But you're going to understand it by the end of this video. We're going to see how this prophecy lives and how we're really about to see what's about to go down here. So, you know, let's just look at, you know, white America, Edomite America right now, you know. Look, you know, pompous, you know, got money. Look, he's burning a cigar with his money. Look, you know, laughing. Yeah, life is good, ain't it? You know, Donald Trump, Ric Flair looking ass. Yeah, look at this Ric Flair looking motherfucker right here. I don't know who that guy is, but, you know, look at these. What the hell? Okay, look at these devils, man. Look at this. Let's zoom back out. I want to try and click on it. But, you know, they're all pompous, happy. You know, come on, why am I still on here? Okay, yeah, you know, 400, everything's good. Look at this guy. Look at this douchebag. Look at these guys, you know. Life of the Edomite. Look at this guy sipping up soda pop. And we're about to see what it's about to be very shortly, you know. See all this, you know. Everybody's getting money. They're happy in their suits, looking all fancy, you know, laughing, having a good time, you know. And this is what's coming for you Edomites. Look at it. Look at it. Pitiful. It's about to be a second. Look, the beast is starved. Welcome to the next Great Depression. How spiritual is that, man? The beast, America, the whore. You understand? Is starved. This is what you Edomites got to look forward to. Except for, it ain't gonna be no soup kitchens, man. It ain't gonna be none of this. It's gonna be you eating each other, man. You can be turned into fucking cannibals, man. You know? See some Jakes in there. And there's gonna be Jakes going through this. You know? Look, y'all not gonna have no food to share, man. How about Shimmy How Shot's gonna starve you entirely, man. Look at this. This is what it's gonna be. See this? Beautiful. This is what it's going to be for you Americans, man. This is what's about to be very, 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 very soon, man. And it's all judgment from the Most High. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. He's bringing the judgment upon you people, man. For your sins and your iniquities. And really, the time of the Gentiles is up. And that's why your time is up, man. The end, man. Now, let's go ahead and go. Let's check out a little clip from a video called The Road. I don't know if you brothers seen this, but this is what it's going to be here in America, man. And, you know, and after I get through this, we're going to go into scripture. See, he sees a little house, you know. Checking things out. You know, scavenging for food. No food, man. This is what it's going to be. But worse. Very soon. Looking for resources. Dirty ass kitchen. Looking for food, man. That's what it's going to come down to very soon.
There's a reason this is locked.
Watch this very carefully. This is what it's going to be very soon.
Let's go.
But that was pretty much the point, man. I'm not going to go too much more into it. But that's what it's going to be, man, out here on these streets, man. You know, it ain't going to be nothing. No food, you know. You like to eat. Man, people are going to be out here eating themselves, man. There's going to be cannibalism going on out here. You know, still recording. Good. Call Halal Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. We're going to go ahead and get into it, man. You know, but that was the scene from the movie The Road, man, which shows basically the reality of a post-apocalyptic environment, man. You know? And as you see, they had that house, man, with people down there all cut up, barely alive. And they was food. They was food, man. Salakia, I'm going to pause for one moment.